This is a brief presentation on text response essays, particularly essay and paragraph structure, as well as a few things to consider when planning and writing your response. First up, let us consider the purpose of a text response essay. They are designed as expository essays in that we aim to explore the topic and generate a discussion on a variety of ideas relating to the topic. Being a text response essay, all of the ideas need to be generated from the text itself. Avoid bringing in external material and ideas. There is always a danger that you stray from the focus of the topic. In the same way, all evidence should really come from the text itself. The evidence you use to back up your points in the body of the essay need to be taken from the text. The essay structure for a text response is fairly straightforward. We begin with an introduction, 2 to 3 body paragraphs, then a conclusion wrapping up the response. Let us take a closer look at each of these actions. The introduction of a text response essay needs to include the text title and the author's full name. You may choose to only refer to the author by their surname thereafter, but you should include a full name to begin with. The essence of your introduction should be based upon the focus of the topic or question. It needs to introduce the area of discussion to the reader. Signposting each of your discussion points or ideas is also a really good idea. It provides a highlight of the body paragraph topics and gives a clear insight to the reader of the direction you will be taking with this essay. The body paragraphs should generally follow the teal structure. If you are unsure about how to plan for the essay, this structure is a very secure format to work with in order to ensure that each of your paragraphs flows and ties in with the topic and the text overall. You should aim for one idea per paragraph. This idea should be the focus for all of your discussions. With each idea presented in a paragraph, there needs to be evidence from the text to back it up. Ideally, you should aim to incorporate multiple examples per paragraph, each one tying in with your topic. Before you complete the paragraph, you must spend some time linking back to the topic and bringing this discussion to a close. This will sometimes take more than one sentence to do. Aim to relate what you have been saying back to both the text and the topic. Looking more closely at the teal structure, the acronym stands for Topic, Example, Explanation, and Link. Your topic sentence should introduce the area or idea that you will be discussing with relation to the topic question in text. This may take more than one sentence to get across. That's not a bad thing. The example and explanation section of the paragraph is fluid. You should begin discussing an idea and use evidence to back up the idea before tying it up. As mentioned earlier, you should aim for more than one example per paragraph. As such, you may go through this process of evidence and explanation more than once. Before you complete the paragraph, be sure to link back to the topic. Apart from understanding the characters and including ample examples from the text to back up your points, you need to aim to include other aspects of the text, such as themes and literary techniques. Themes should be referenced in every paragraph. They form the crux of the text, and as such, everything that you discuss should be relatable to a theme. Literary techniques are about how the author constructs meaning. This is a higher order analysis of the text. You should aim to include some discussion on literary techniques at least once in your essay. Integrate this into your discussion on the topic rather than simply mentioning it in passing. This will add to the depth of your analysis. Here is a sample paragraph that includes some of the things we've been discussing. The focus of the question is assimilation, and the area being discussed in this paragraph is the struggles faced by some migrants to assimilate due to language barriers. Pung explores the theme of assimilation within the text through the language struggles faced by migrants. As the rest of her family begins to adapt to the Australian culture and language, Alice's mother becomes increasingly agitated as she finds herself not being able to communicate with her own family. She is unable to read or write in English because of the fact that she has been housebound for 2 decades. Her status as an outworker has left her unable to learn the English very good. While Alice learns in school that migrants don't assimilate and don't bother to learn the language, the reality is more complex. The reality is that as a refugee, Alice's mother was left with little choice for education. Furthermore, her employment, being isolated from others, compounds to generate this problem. She struggles to assimilate because the language barrier is too expansive. Note the topic sentence at the beginning of the paragraph. It introduces what will be discussed as well as the focus of the question. There are several examples integrated within the paragraph to back up the point being made about migrants struggling to assimilate. In this case, Alice's mother. The paragraph ends with a brief link that ties what is being said back to the focus of the essay, assimilation. Finally, some quick things to keep in mind when you are planning and writing your essay. Firstly, when referring to the text, always write in the present tense. The text is an ever-present thing and should be referred to in the present tense. For example, it's preferable to write, when Alice visits her house, Ma, she asks, compared to when Alice visited her outside Ma, she asks. Secondly, try to avoid overly long sentences. Be succinct where you can. Get straight to the point and do not abuse commas and semicolons, even if you are confident in using them. Realistically, if you read out your sentence and struggle to say the whole thing in one breath, it may be too long. Avoid writing contractions in your essay. This is a formal writing piece and contractions should be avoided. Rather than writing don't, write the full set of terms, do not. Please be sure to proofread your work. Reading aloud is greatly beneficial. It will allow you to check whether everything that you have written actually makes sense. If there is an error, you will then be able to correct it before submission. Finally, be sure to spell each of the characters' names correctly. It is never a good thing misspelling characters' names in a text response essay. Remember, if you have any queries, see your teacher well before the essay is due. Good luck with your essay writing.